Welcome to the USCC's webinar, part of our series, Composting in the Time of COVID-19. We're about to start telling you about how to use the Victory Garden tools from the US Composting Council and the Composting Council Research and Education Foundation. We're waiting for a few more people to log in, and we'll get started soon. We are the US Composting Council, and we work to support the composting industry. We've started a webinar series on composting in the time of COVID-19 to try to help our industry through this time. All right, I want to welcome everyone to our webinar, How to Use the Victory Garden Tools from the US Composting Council and Composting Council Research and Education Foundation. We're the US Composting Council, and we are working to support the composting industry. So a few housekeeping items. Want to let everyone know that you are automatically on mute. You can use your audio settings to adjust the sound, or switch to a phone if you'd like to have a little bit better sound quality. You'll notice at the bottom there's a Q&A box. Please use that to ask any questions to the panelists. We're going to answer any questions as we go and hold most of them until the end. We'll be answering them at the end. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on demand on our website. This is one of a series of webinars that we've been hosting. We've had 4 webinars so far, talking about the coronavirus and its impact on the composting industry and things that we're doing to help you get through this time. Here's a link to the tools that we're going to be talking about today, the Victory Garden tools. The main page with the tools is available to everyone on compost use, and the marketing section of that web page is only available to US Composting Council members. We have a great turnout today. There's 113 people signed in. So let me introduce you to some of our panelists. My name is Hillary Nichols. I'm with the US Composting Council. I'm the Market Development Coordinator and STA Certified Compost Manager for the US Composting Council. I've been with the horticulture industry for 20 years. I'm a horticulture graduate of North Carolina State University, and I've written for Fine Gardening magazine, been a frequent guest speaker on UNC TV's Almanac Gardener, and I've been a leader in both the National and Georgia Perennial Plant Association. I've taught horticulture at the Atlanta Botanical Garden, Therapeutic Gardens, and I'm a founder and educator at my local seed libraries. And I'm based right here in Durham, North Carolina. We're fortunate to have Linda Norris-Walt, who is the Communications Director for the US Composting Council, who's been in the recycling industry for 30 years, having spent 10 years as a recycling manager for Frederick County, Maryland. Linda began her career as a local newspaper reporter before becoming a business communicator, 17 of those for manufacturing companies. She is a University of Maryland graduate and is on the steering committee for the Maryland DC Composting Council. And she's a leader in the Citizens Advocacy Group for Composting and Food Waste in Frederick County, Maryland. She's also an avid vermicomposter who teaches community classes based on courses at the Rodale Institute and Rhonda Sherman's NC State Conference. And we also have Suzanne Longacre, who is a marketing manager for Laurel Valley Soils. And right here at the USCC, she participates on the Market Development Committee as a member. Suzanne holds a University of Delaware food marketing degree and has a passion for taking a deep dive to developing branding and marketing strategies, and then moving into the creative side to bring them to life. Suzanne is a repeat guest on You Bet Your Garden and is a judge for University of Delaware's Hen Hatch. Laurel Valley Soils provides post-harvest mushroom compost and soil blends for bioretention, green roofs, gardens, and top dressing to Middle Atlantic wholesale customers. We are really privileged to have all of our speakers here today, and we have a wonderful agenda for you on this webinar. So why Victory Gardens? I want to tell you a little bit about the history of Victory Gardens. They started back in World War II when there were labor shortages, and that causes food shortages. So we want to bring that back to today, where we need this empowering movement. Exercise helps generate serotonin, and the soil microbes do the same thing. It's a way that you can social distance and still interact with your neighbors. It's also a way that you don't need as many groceries, which is really important for people who are struggling with their finances right now and who are also concerned about coming into contact with the virus that the grocery store entails. It's also a way for those who have the means to donate to the needy. If you produce more food than you need, it can really help a lot of people. We all know compost is the foundation to big vegetables with even more vitamins. If you look at Google and see how many people are interested in the Victory Garden idea right now, there's already 133 million people who are Googling for Victory Gardens. This is a wave of interest that we want to ride. So, Suzanne, would you tell us more about how we can maximize the power of social media?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Hillary, for providing the background on Victory Gardens. We know that the key to a successful garden is compost. So this is a great opportunity for compost manufacturers to get in on this trendy, timely conversation. So how can we together maximize the power of social media and join the nationwide conversation on Victory Gardens? On your registration forms, we asked, what is your biggest obstacle with social media? And overwhelmingly, you replied that it's the time and content aspects. So we're going to show you how the USCC will make posting quick and easy. So first, I want to talk about the 3 elements that make up a successful social media campaign. So you need interesting content, reach, and engagement. Your customers are no different than you. Think about your social media habits. You follow and engage with people, companies, and groups that interest you. So you want to think about your audience when posting content as a brand. Think about what is in it for them, not you. What do they want to know about? So your interesting content appeals to your target audience. It's not salesy. Social media is not the place for the hard sell. Social media is all about relationships. It needs to be timely. It needs to be relevant. You wouldn't post about preparing your gardens for winter in April, right? Can you go back, Hillary? Got a couple more points on the content. Back one, please. Yeah, there you go. Thanks. Timely content. One cool thing to do also is called newsjacking. It's when brands can piggyback on news stories. You might remember the best example of this. During the Super Bowl, when the power went off a number of years ago, Oreo posted, "It's okay, you can dunk in the dark." So when you have an opportunity to do that, it can be a super opportunity, a super great time to bring notice to your brand. The content also needs to be original. It's okay to share, but you should also have original content, either created by you or as part of a cooperative campaign. So reach. Reach is your audience. It's your connections. Think about how many unique followers and contacts you have. Unique means not duplicates among different platforms or your database. So it's your social media. It's your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter connections. It can also be your customer database and email list. And don't forget about this. Those contacts in your database may not be on social media. So you have to reach them through email communications. To reach everyone with really good original content, we often create blog posts and then we share them via social media and e-blast to ensure maximum reach to all our contacts and followers. So it is often a very cohesive approach. Don't just rely on one. You want to make sure you hit your different targets. Engagement. Engagement occurs on your pages and can be on other pages too. It's a dialogue. It's not a monologue. Old school marketing was one way, from the brand to the customer. Today, it is a two-way street, and sometimes generated from the customer, which is inbound. Engagement is a customer action that is a result of your action. For example, on social media, it would be follows, likes, comments, or shares. In e-blast, it could be responses, replies to your e-blast, or shares. There's nothing greater than sending out an e-blast and then getting a reply from a customer that says, wow, that was great, I loved it. It can also be direct contact from customers and prospects. And ultimately, the biggest reward then is when you can track sales to that engagement. It's the return you get from good content. It's the reward. It's when people want to share what you posted with their friends. You need interesting content and reach to get engagement. Somebody had asked a question about negative comments with engagement. We thought we might just touch on this really quickly. It's definitely a situational thing. You need to decide how you handle something by what just happened. But a rule of thumb is if you get a negative comment about your product, let's say, someone comments that it didn't perform the way it should, or something happened in the sales transaction, you never, ever, ever want to delete it. This is your opportunity to win someone over. And many times someone who is vocal on a negative comment will then also be vocal on a positive comment. So no brand is perfect, but how you make it right is the key. So make sure that you address all your comments, both negative and positive. So another engagement tool we wanted to cover quickly is social listening. So this is an example of being an active part of the social media community. So I belong to several gardening groups, and last year I saw a post where someone received a delivery of poor soil and they weren't sure what to do. I jumped into the conversation as myself, not as Laurel Valley, and helped them. We had several phone calls, emails, and texts, and we were able to help them fix his problem. This year, a year later, he needed some more soil and reached out to me directly. He then posted an update on the same group page and provided an unbelievable review of me and Laurel Valley. He called me a soil angel, which was pretty funny. So you can see in the original post last year, there were 102 comments, and so people were really, really engaged. The update post this year, which was the review, has 32 comments and 96 likes. And this is a way to get your brand noticed and have your brand advocates, like Max here, tell our story. There's no better person to talk about your brand than your advocates. So you want to make sure that you get them engaged and give them opportunities to promote your brand for you, because they are much more unbiased than the brand will be. So make sure that you are out there on all types of social media opportunities. So now I want to talk about the power of social media to get your message out. So this little six-figure guy is a USCC member. They're a B2B customer. They're ABC Composting Company, and they sell B2B, which is business to business, to retailers such as garden centers and landscapers. And ABC Composting Company created a really engaging Facebook post. And then 3 of ABC Compost's B2C, business to consumer retailers liked and shared their posts on their own Facebook pages. Okay, so the ABC Composting posted on their Facebook page, and 3 of their followers liked it and shared it on their own. So then 7 end users, consumers, saw the retailer's post, liked it, and shared on their own personal Facebook pages. Then 23 of the end users' friends liked and shared the post on their own Facebook pages. So let's take a look at this. You see that the one post started, they posted some really good content, and then it went through to the friends and family. Now this image right here is a crazy busy slide, but it's intentional, and it shows that there is power in numbers. What I'm trying to show here is we have almost 400 USCC members. We had 250 people registered. Right now, we have 149 participants. So all of you out there, plus our USCC members, imagine if every one of you shared the same content on the same day. We could reach over 10,000 people with the same messaging and go viral. So you can see very clearly here how quickly good content and messaging can be spread throughout social media. So here's your challenge. Your customers are creating victory gardens in record numbers. Let's educate, encourage, and support them together with a cohesive social media strategy. Let's create a movement with our V for Victory Gardens hashtag. And here's Hillary working on our Victory Garden and proudly showing the V for Victory Garden sign. So for iCall 2020, USCC is partnering with CCREF to highlight compost as an essential ingredient of a home victory garden. And here's what we want you to do. We want you to post photos on social media using compost in your garden and encourage your customers and followers to do it too. We want you to hold up the peace sign, or as we call it, the V for Victory Garden sign, and use our hashtags, V for Victory Gardens, iCall 2020, and Soil Loves Compost, which is the theme for this year's International Compost Awareness Week. The peace sign, or the V for Victory Garden sign, with the V for Victory Garden hashtag will create the cohesiveness and interest to entice others to embrace this campaign. Like other interactive campaigns, This would help create a movement where people have fun showing off their gardens. Hashtags will help us measure the success as we can search social media platforms by the hashtags. And the V for Victory sign is the interactive, engaging part of this campaign. We want this to be exciting for people. And doing the symbol, the V for Victory sign, I think will make it really, really fun for our members, our followers, and everybody who wants to participate. So Hillary introduced us to Victory Gardens, and I talked to you about why we should use this timely and interesting content to reach our connections and create engagement. Linda is now going to show you how the USCC is going to make it really easy for you to participate.
Hey, thanks, Suzanne. I appreciate that. So USCC, we have about 750, probably now up to 775 members, and about half of those are compost manufacturers. So we created these tools primarily with that large membership dynamic in mind, but these tools can be used by all of our members, and I'm excited to show them to you so that you can figure out how they work. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hang on just 1 minute while I get to the right place. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see. I don't know if Hillary or Suzanne can confirm for me that you can see my screen with the Victory Garden tool shed.
Looks beautiful.
Yep, looks perfect.
Okay, excellent. Glad that it shared properly. So we began, as Hillary said, seeing Victory Gardens popping up in the news about 4 weeks ago, and we all discussed together and said, you know, we want to be sure people are using compost in these Victory Gardens. So we got to work brainstorming and figuring out what kinds of tools would be quickest and easiest for our members to deploy, that you all could jump on this wave and talk about compost at the same time that people are talking about Victory Gardens. So this tool shed, we're going to tell you about, Hillary and I are going to tell you about a few things that are in it, but just to quickly run down, the webinar we're on today is on here. We're going to talk about social media. Suzanne has told us a little bit about the V for Victory Garden campaign, where we want you to post pictures with your V. Hillary's going to talk about content, and I'm going to talk about e-blast templates and PSAs. And then there's some other tools here that members can look at that are actually on the non-member side as well, such as our COVID resources and other general information on Victory Gardens. So even if you're not a member, if you look on the front side of the site under Victory Gardens, you'll be able to find some of this information. So I'm going to start showing you things because we are focused on your success as members. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to get to this page that you're looking at, which is actually locked behind for members. So you non-members out there, you're going to get a little look behind the curtain to see how things work. We have a portal in USCC, and the way you get to that, if you're on any page in the website, up on the right-hand corner, there is a sign-in location, or you'll often find lower down in the page information where you can put in the username and password that you selected when you joined USCC. So I'm going to click that sign in as if I'm you and come down here. Now, if you don't remember your username, you can always contact myself or Megan Hester, and you've probably seen plenty of emails from us, and we can help you get your username. If you have your username and you just can't remember your password, you hit the forgot password link, and that will get you into your password. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this going. So if it's your first time, you may not see this screen going into your profile. You may get a page with your profile on it, but most of you who have been in already will get this screen. But no matter which you are, you'll always have this large green bar across the top. And the quick shortcut to get to the Victory Gardens is to go to Quick Links and drop down to Welcome to Your Victory Garden. And that brings you right back to where we wanted to be and what we were talking about. So I do want to send out to everyone who registered who is a member, I'm going to send you a couple of quick steps after the webinar so that you can do this quickly and follow the steps in the email in case you forget what I told you here. So dropping down in this page, I'm going to talk about our social media schedule. As you recall, Suzanne talked about the fact that this is a way we can go really viral, and if we are all posting together and our customers are sharing our posts and they're sharing it to their friends and family, we're going to have a lot of people talking about composting and compost use, which is our main goal. So if you go to the page with social media resources, you will see a couple of folders here on the social media post kit. And the first one you probably want to look at is there's a Word document that's going to describe to you. I'm not going to look at it now. It gives you all the directions that I'm going to talk about. But after you've looked at that and printed it out, you can go to the social media schedule. And this is a schedule that we have worked hand in hand with USCC's Market Development Committee, who is also promoting, along with the Composting Council Research and Education Foundation, the Soil Loves Compost theme, as well as the Victory Gardens theme, and the V for Victory Gardens in the upcoming International Compost Awareness Week, which starts next Sunday. So what we have done is we have scheduled a number of posts here for you. We have even suggested dates for you, and we've suggested content. We have photos and links for both Facebook and Instagram, because if you do know social media, you do need to kind of curate your content a little bit towards the different social media. And we focus on Facebook and Instagram because our surveys have told us this is where most of our members and our customers are at this time. Now, you specifically may have a different scenario. We also have a lot of content on YouTube and other places, which Hillary will talk about. But all you'll need to do is copy paste your post for whichever Facebook or Instagram that you're going to, along with the link. And these pictures, if you go back to the post kit, which I will do, you will see the Victory Gardens photos collection. So all you have to do is download the photo that goes with the post, and you have a photo, a post, and a link all ready to go. If you do want to do that, you can pre-schedule your posts. You may know how to do that. We may do other webinars later to teach more about that, but you can pre-schedule posts if you want to. So that's another thing you can do. So that is our social media posting schedule that we have for you, and we do have, excuse me, let me get back to where I was here, Victory Garden Tools. So that is the social media posting. I'm also going to talk about e-blasts. Many of you have very robust customer lists, and you may want to send an e-blast to your customers about this, so we have taken care of that for you. If you hit Connect to Resources, it will also take you to this folder that has all the e-blast information. We have a template and code for you. We also have a Word document if you just want to copy paste the text and put your own pictures in. We have a template PDF and a template JPEG in eBlast, all set for you. So that was so that you could pick whichever method you want to use. So if you have a marketing person, they'll know exactly what to do with this. If you don't, give me an email and I'll try to help you through what you need to do with that. So the last thing that I have to show you today is about the public service announcements. Now, public service announcements are very similar to press releases. However, they are short and they're intended for radio and television. And we thought about the fact that since a lot of radio and television is looking to cover Victory Gardens and COVID-19 issues, but they're looking for good news, you may have very good luck with going to your local media and giving them this template PSA. So what this has is instructions in a Word document for how to find the right person at the TV station, how it reminds you to put your own logo and your own company name into the template, because the template doesn't have a company name in it. We left it blank so that you could put it in there and get PR for your particular company. So that is another piece of information for you that you have ready at your fingertips. So at this point, I am going to stop sharing because Hillary is going to talk to you about some of these other tools. So Hillary, I will hand it back over to you so you can acquaint them with the other information that's out there.
Thank you, Linda. And I'm excited that we're able to share all that and create all that content for people. We heard through a lot of your registrations for this webinar that one of your biggest barriers to working with social media is the time that it takes to create the engaging content. So we have this, and as long as you're a USCC member, you're able to utilize it. Some other of the content that we've created for you is information on planting victory gardens for your customers to use. And this is something that you can use to supplement that content that we've shared with you. One of the pages that we've put together for this is the using compost information. And this is just general information on how do you use compost, what equipment do you need, how do you buy quality compost, how do you find STA certified compost, even so specific as just what is compost? And of course, we go into the benefits of compost. One of the other things that we've shared on our website is information on how to garden. Beyond just the soil preparation, what does it take to plant vegetables, and what do you need to plant containers and raise beds? We have links to different gardening apps that your customers may want to use. And for those folks who feel bad about the organics pickup being halted right now during COVID-19 and want to compost at home, we have information about how to compost at home. We also have information about finding seeds and plant sources, because once you have your compost in place, you've amended your garden, you know how to start a veggie garden, you need to have seed and plant sources. For most people, their local nurseries and garden centers are still open, so they're able to follow the routes that they're used to for getting those materials. But for those people who need to order online, we have provided links on our website to different seed catalogs and plant catalogs, and we've been indicated which ones of those seem to be back ordered right now, so that you can share those with your customers. We also have links on our webpage to other organizations who are sharing information about victory gardens. We're partnering with the National Gardening Association to get the word out on victory gardens. The American Horticulture Association has great information. The Guardian and the LA Times have posted great articles about it, and even AARP is sharing information about victory gardens. So, as a part of our Victory Garden movement, we want to make sure that everyone is using STA certified compost for their victory gardens. We have our list of participants on our website at compostingcouncil.org/participants. We've recently updated this list of compost manufacturers with additional product information, so that people know it's not just the facility that gets certified, it's also the individual products that get certified. So this is a list that people use to find compost, not just a place where that has compost, but also a place that they have confidence in, because those compost manufacturers disclose their test results, and customers can look at those test results to easily see which product is best for which use. That's really key for people. We even have this map you'll see down in the right-hand corner. So when you go to the participants page, you can look through the people that are on our list, either by selecting a state or going to the map, whichever way is easier for you to find compost manufacturers. The USCC is committed to providing marketing help. We're doing everything we can throughout the year, not just right now during COVID-19, to help you with marketing. That's the foundation of the STA Certified Compost Program, to help with marketing, to help forward the composting industry and make sure that people have confidence in compost. So Suzanne and Linda have shared resources for helping to market during COVID-19, and I want to share a couple of the resources that we have that help you market throughout the year. We have the Compost Consumer Use Program, which is based on looking at test results, seeing which test results for compost are better for particular uses, and suggesting particular application rates for each of those different types of compost uses. And we've put together those uses onto a rack card. You see a picture up in the upper right-hand corner. And this rack card is something that you can give your customers so that they can read through it and be comfortable with how to use that compost for that particular use. And when you're posting to social media, you can show people holding this rack card and showing that they're really considering how they're using the compost. We also have available buy a customized video from Joe Lample of Growing a Greener World, and you'll find those on our YouTube site. So we have a special partnership with Joe where he is our spokesperson for the composting industry, and he will help you out with that. We also have free videos on our YouTube channel showing compost being used. These are videos that we've worked with Joe Lample from Growing a Greener World to show compost being used so that people can click on that YouTube video and see how compost is being used and be confident in using it that way themselves as well. So here again is a link to all those resources that Linda has been showing you. This is the Victory Garden Toolshed. The general Victory Garden Toolshed is open to everyone. It's the one that has the compost use information. And then the marketing information is only for US Composting Council members. And also keep in mind there are different membership levels, and only those folks who are shown to be members for your organization can be on there. So you might want to purchase a higher membership level so that more people at your organization can use those resources quickly and easily. All right, now I want to open the floor for any questions. Linda,
Yeah, Hillary, this is, and I see a question here that I wanted to give some good news to, and it is from Janice, and she says, so if you're not a USCC member, none of this content is available. She works for a small nonprofit and membership is expensive. So as Hillary mentioned, the compostingcouncil.org/Victory Gardens is open to everyone. And Hillary, I don't know if you could go to that page quickly and just so people see what it looks like and what is on that page for those who aren't members. And while she's doing that, I will mention, since the other hat I wear is membership, and we debated whether to make this webinar only open to members, but we felt non-members could also use these front of the website tools to market to your family and friends, and you may decide that you want to join. You may decide after you see a bit more of what we do that it is worthwhile. And I'll mention that our nonprofit membership is $260 a year. And our memberships generally go from July, well, not generally, they go from July 1st through June 30th, although you can join anytime, and we do have prorated membership for a portion of the year. So Hillary, I'll let you just show that page and if there's any other questions about that, but this is what you can use if you aren't a member. There are resources out there.
Great. So this is the general Victory Garden page. Here at the beginning, we talk about where the history of Victory Gardens is and what it is. And it shows where to find compost manufacturers. There's a link to the member only page, which is right here, the marketing information. And this is a link to the using compost information for gardeners. This is what's available for anyone. And there's also a link to the creating compost information for food scraps. So let's just go to the using compost page here. So there's a brief introduction, again, where to find STA certified compost, information on how to garden. So I'll click on that real quick. So you see there's information on soil preparation. The how to use compost page is what I showed earlier. Everything about how to find, use, and what equipment you need for compost, as well as the benefits. The videos I talked about for Compost in Action, a link to Growing a Greener World, all sorts of information on vegetable gardening from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, North Carolina Cooperative Extension. There's a different cooperative extension for every county in the United States. So we just linked to a couple of the ones that are local to where I am, but definitely look in your state to find the cooperative extension information for you, since every state is very unique with the soil type that you have and the climate that you have. We have links to container gardening from Growing a Greener World, the Garden Socks, Farmer's Almanac, Southern Living, information on raised beds. And these are those gardening apps that I was telling you about. People really enjoy those gardening apps. So we also have information for the seed and plant sources. So all of this information that I'm showing you right now, this is what is free to anyone, and it's not locked down to just being a member. So these are seed sources that seem to be uninterrupted, and these are the seed sources that seem to be backordered right now. And here are a couple plant sources. And I told you about other groups that were talking about the Victory Gardens. Here they are. So you'll see the Cornell Cooperative Extension Service, talking about nurseries, articles about how gardens are a living pantry, even the Fenway Victory Gardens. That's a Victory Garden that started a while back, and it's continued on to this day. So again, this is the web page that we've created that's open to everyone. All right, do we have more questions?
We do, Hillary. There is Charles looking for marketing compost for a city-run composting system and how these resources can help with that.
All right, so for a city-run facility, do you have access to social media? Are you able to use these tools? I'm not sure if you're able to answer quickly in that chat box. Yes, all right, thanks, Charles. Great, so you would use them the same as anyone else would, where you're sharing content and helping to encourage people to use compost right now as an option for growing vegetables in their yard, as an option for getting outside and exercising and socializing while still being socially distanced. Does that answer your question? Are there other questions that we can answer also?
So this is Linda. I can handle the next one, which talks about how much does it cost to be a member. And as I said, we have memberships ranging all the way from individual and student. If you are a college student who has a transcript that you can send along. We have student memberships, individual, various sizes of business, and we also have large corporate supporters. And the way that you find those membership or information about those memberships is compostingcouncil.org. /member join, and all of our memberships are there. Or send me an email. I'll put my email, I think maybe Hillary has it here, but I can put my email address out and I can answer your question more specifically.
So it looks like we have somebody asking if some of the member-only marketing material is geared towards municipal government and engaging community members, not just for customers of compost manufacturers. So these materials are meant to engage community members as well, to tell people about what the benefits of compost are and why they want to use it. that's meant to be for everyone, not just customers. And I see that someone else is asking if there are student-friendly lessons on the site. We do have a lot of links under our resource section of our website that help with teachers to teach lessons about where your food comes from and eliminating food waste. And somebody wants confirmation. The how to garden information and the find seed information is open to everyone. This first link at the top, that's what that first link is, compostingcouncil.org/victorygardens. The only parts that are locked down are the suggested emails and the social media schedule.
And students love to take their selfies, so you can totally see them in the garden with their V for Victory Gardens sign. So they can definitely engage in that.
Thanks, Suzanne. All right, are we seeing any more questions? So I see that we have somebody asking some questions about how the value of compost outweighs the cost. So we have some compost use case studies that we'll be posting on the webpage in the next month or so. And that should help show how the cost outweighs or the benefit outweighs the cost for using compost. If you go through those compost use pages, you'll also see how it helps a lot with erosion control. And as I said, we're going to start to show how different erosion control methods are not as effective if they don't have compost in them.
Hillary, this is Linda, and I actually wanted to pitch a question over to Suzanne that has to do with some of these questions. I can see that we have a lot of advocates, compost advocates on the call, and oftentimes we find ourselves advocating communities to compost, but we aren't always advocating in our communities about the importance of using compost. And Suzanne, I was wondering as a member if you might want to talk about that and, you know, how the importance of using compost is so vital to companies that are actually in the business of picking up and producing compost.
Yeah, so it really ties in so well with the Victory Gardens and encouraging people to use compost. I have a great infographic, and I wish I had it right now that I could show you quickly. Maybe what I'll do is I'll try to make that one, add it to one of the social media posts so that we can use it. But it shows the relationship between the soil, plant health, and like, for example, like a vegetable plant, a tomato, the health of the tomato, and then what it does for our bodies when we eat that tomato. And compost brings the biology to the soil that helps break down the nutrients that the plants need to be healthy and happy and to produce food that is nutritious for our bodies. And so this infographic talks about, for example, you know, magnesium in the soil, what it does for the plant, and then what it does for our bodies when we eat a nutritious tomato. If our soil isn't healthy and doesn't have the biology that can break down the nutrients and make them available and deliver them to the plant, a tomato may look like a tomato, but it doesn't have the nutrition that our bodies need. In fact, there's a great video that we will be putting out for Compost Awareness Week that Joe Lampel produced for us. And it really shows this point very, very well about, you know, we are what we eat, right? And we are what we eats, right? So we want the soil has to be healthy, and you need compost to do that. And there are so many other environmental benefits for compost. I mean, Hillary, you talked about that with soil erosion and carbon sequestration, and there's so many benefits. But if we look at it, just, you know, what's in it for us right now? And that is creating healthy soil so that we can be healthy. So there's so much information, and I saw someone on the chat ask if I can provide that. I will make sure to have that in the portal where you can access that, and that should be a post that we all post together and create that virality.
Excellent, excellent. And I see that we have a question about using compost in balcony gardens. We do have information on that on our website. If you go to this Victory Garden page, you'll see information on container gardens, and you'll also see information on vermicomposting. So both of those might be helpful for somebody that's in a small space like that. And I also want to call attention to the number of people that we have on this call from around the world. We have people from Canada, Bangladesh, Germany, Israel, Lebanon, Mexico, New Zealand, Puerto Rico, and the Dutch East Indies. What a privilege to be able to speak to all of you. All right, have we missed any questions? Are there more left?
Someone did ask about the International Compost Awareness Week posters, and you can get those on compostfoundation.org/ICAW, ICAW, and they are for purchase.
Great, thank you. And I see that somebody asked a question about encouraging their city to start a new composting facility. You may want to look at the Composting Council Research and Education Foundation's website for their compost operator training courses. Those courses may start to answer some of your questions. All right, so I want to remind everyone that this webinar has been recorded, and you can find it on our webpage on this site. And you can also listen to some of the other webinars that we have been showing. And we want to thank everyone who's been working with us, the Composting Association of Vermont, the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, and of course, the Composting Council Research and Education Foundation. Thank you all. And I want to thank our panelists, Lynna Norris-Walt and Suzanne Longacre. And I'm Hillary Nichols. Thank you very much for joining us.